Hello students, I am Dr. Pallavi Rai, Associate Professor at Ramesh Institute of Vocational and Technical Education, Greater Noida. Today I will be discussing on the topic of flavonoids, which is a topic in your Unit 4. So it is one of the secondary metabolites, and flavonoids comes from the Latin term flavus. Flavus means yellow in Latin language, and generally the flavonoids, they have a yellow color, because of which the term flavonoid has been given. It is generally a group of polyphenolic compounds which is found mainly in fruits, flowers, seeds as well as vegetables. And it is generally found in higher families, basically Polygonaceae, Rutaceae, Leguminosae, Umbelliferae, Compositae, etc. The main physiological role in plants of these flavonoids is basically their plants produce them as their own defense mechanism. Like we have our own immune system, our antibodies, same way plants have the antioxidants in the form of flavonoids to protect them from the external problems. They mainly these flavonoids, they are also used as pigments in the flowers to attract the pollinators, and they also play a very important role by activating or inhibiting the enzymes which control the growth of the plant. So these are the physiological roles of the flavonoids in the plant. Now, if we look at the structure of the flavonoid, the basic structure of the flavonoid involves basically two benzene rings. As you can see, there is one benzene ring which we denote as A, and then there is another benzene ring which we denote as B. So there are two benzene rings which are joined together by three carbon atoms, 1, 2 and 3 carbon atoms. So it is C6, C3, C6 compound which together forms the basic structure of a flavonoidal ring. Now, if we look at the three carbon atoms which are joining the two phenyl rings, they can give rise to two different structure. One structure can be a furan ring and another structure can be a pyran ring. So as you can see, this is a 5-membered ring forming the furan ring, and then here we have the 6-membered ring forming the pyran ring by the C3 which is joining the two phenyl rings. In case if there is a furan ring, then we call it as orone, and if it is forming a pyran ring, then we call it as a flavonoid. So this is one of the classification based on the type of the heterocyclic ring present at the C3 bonding. Now, if we further look at the flavonoids, they exist in plants either as aglycones or as glycosides or as methylated derivatives. Now, when they exist as aglycones, they do not have any sugar moiety. But when they exist as glycosides, they have the joining of the sugar moieties at different positions. Now, if we look at the numbering of the flavonoidal structure, the numbering starts from the oxygen atom of the pyran ring. So, the numbering starts as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we jump to the ring A as 5, 6, 7 and 8. And the joining of the A and C, this becomes the 9th as well as this becomes the 10th number. At the second position, you can see the joining of the second phenyl ring, and the numbering there is as 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash. So this is how the numbering is done in any flavonoidal aglycone structure. Now if this aglycone exists as a glycoside, then the bonding which is formed is either at the third position or as the seventh position as shown is in this picture. And the sugars which are generally present are either L-ramenose, D-glucose, galactose or arabinose, which together form a flavonoidal glycoside. Now we move at the classification of the flavonoids based on the substitutions in the pyran ring. So here as you can see that we have a basic ring of the phenyl, one phenyl group and another phenyl group. And here at the second and the third position there is a double bond which is present, as well as at the fourth position there is a keto group present. So when there is a double bond and a keto group present, we call that particular flavonoid as a flavone. As you know, ONE stands for the ketone. We call it as a flavone, and the examples for flavone is apigenin, luteolin, etc. Now the second is flavonol. Again, looking at the structure, you can see that at the second and the third position there is a there is a double bond. At the fourth position there is a keto group. But again at the third position there is also a hydroxy group. So the difference between flavone and flavonol is the presence of the hydroxy group. So as you can see, we have ON for the ketone and OL for the hydroxy group, while the double bond remains there only as second and third position. The example for this is camphorol, quercetin, rutin, which are very well known antioxidant flavonoidal compounds. The third classification is flavanone. So here the difference between a flavone and a flavanone lies only that here there is no double bond at the second and third position. Rest of the structure is exactly the same. So this is a flavanone structure without the double bond at the second and the third position. And the example for this is hesperetin and naringin, which is generally found in the lemon peel or the citrus fruit peels. The fourth classification is known as the flavanonol. Flavanonol means, here again you can see that there is no double bond at the second and third position, but we have the keto group again and also the hydroxy group again. So as we saw in the structure of flavonol, there was a double bond along with hydroxy and keto group. Here the only difference is that the double bond between second and third carbon atom is missing, and the example is silymarin. Silymarin is a very well known hepatoprotective drug. It is good for the health of the liver. Now we move to the next structure. In this structure, as you can see the basic ring, there is no keto group present. Neither there is any double bond at the second or the third position. So this structure is known as the flavan structure, without double bond and without ketone group. Now in this structure, if there is a presence of a hydroxy group, which can be either at the third position or at the fourth position or at the third and the fourth position, then the names will be flavan 3-ol, flavan 4-ol and flavan 3,4-diol. So this is how the naming can be done for the flavan structures. Now the examples for flavanol or the flavan 3-ol is catechin and epicatechin, which are derivatives of tannins. Now the next category is of the isomer of flavonoid. Now as you can see, the structure of this is exactly same like a flavonoid in terms of the molecular formula as well as the functional groups which are present. But the difference is that instead of the phenyl group at the second position, we have the phenyl group at the third position. So here you can see, from here the position has shifted here, showing that it is a isomer of flavonoid, and the example for this is genistein and diadzin. So these are the isoflavones. So the next category is again an isomer of flavonoid with the phenyl ring present at the fourth position. This is also known as an abnormal flavonoid because there are no 3 carbon atoms between the two phenyl rings. So it is not exactly a flavonoid structure, but it is an isomer of the flavonoid, and sometimes it is also known as 4-phenyl coumarin due to the coumarin structure. Coumarin is nothing but a benzopyrone structure. Benzene with a pyrone means a keto group attached to a pyrone ring, that is a coumarin. So here we have 4-phenyl and benzopyrone structure, making it a neoflavonoid. Another category in flavonoids are the anthocyanidins. Now as you can see, in anthocyanidins we have two unsaturations present at the first and second position and at the third and the fourth position, making the oxygen positively charged. So it is also known as the flavelium ion skeleton, and generally these are colored compounds, and the example for anthocyanidins is delphinidin. Another colored compound which is also considered to be a flavonoid are the chalcones. Chalcones do not have a pyrene ring. There is no heterocyclic ring present. It is a simple structure with two benzene rings which are joined together by 3 carbon atoms and with a keto moiety and one unsaturation present. Chalcones are generally, they are colored compounds which are present in many trees, especially their flower petals. For example, in the plant Palash or the Butea plant, we have a compound named as butene, which is highly colored in nature, but at the same time it is also having many medicinal properties. In general, chalcones have been studied to have antibacterial, antifungal, anti-tumor and anti-inflammatory properties. So they are also very important category of medicinal ingredients known as the chalcones. Now we move to the identification test of the flavonoids. So the first test is the aluminium chloride test, where when we add aluminium chloride to the water extract of flavonoid, it gives yellow color when we look at it in visible range. So in visible range we have a yellow coloration showing the presence of the flavonoid. But if we want to confirm that which type of flavonoid is present, then we can put this solution in UV light, and when we see it in UV light, if there is a green coloration, it shows the presence of flavones. Flavones are what? They have double bond at second, third position and keto group at the fourth position. If it gives a yellow to yellowish green color, then it is a flavonol, means it has double bond at second, third position, keto group at the fourth position and hydroxy group at the third position. And if it gives a pale brown color, then it is a flavonone. It means that it has basically a keto group without the double bond at the second and third position. So these are the differentiating tests using the same solution of aluminium trichloride. The other test is lead subacetate test, where we add lead subacetate solution to our test solution and it gives yellow colored precipitates. Another test is Shinoda test, where we add metallic magnesium or magnesium turnings along with dilute HCl to the alcoholic solution of flavonoid. It produces red to violet color. Another test is antimony pentachloride test for specifically chalcones. In the presence of carbon tetrachloride, this chalcol solution will give a red or violet coloration. Now the isolation of flavonoids. The isolation is based again on the isolation of glycosides only. So here we take the plant material in the grounded form and then we extract it with water by heating or by boiling. Once we get the extract, after that we add lead acetate to our extract. Now when we add lead acetate to our water extract, what happens is that the tannins, they react with the lead acetate and start precipitating. So after that we will filter this solution and we'll throw the residue while we will use the filtrate, and into this filtrate we will add further water and dilute acid, after which it will be boiled for a long period of time. On further boiling, what happens is that the free flavonoids, they start precipitating on the surface and then they can be separated, and further through fractional crystallization they can be separated into different fractions of acetate free flavonoids. I'll just repeat again. We will take the ground plant material, we will boil it with water. To the water extract we will add lead acetate solution, the tannins will be precipitated, then we will filter it, and to the filtrate we will add water and dilute acid. Again we will boil, the precipitates of flavonoids will be formed, which will be collected, and fractional crystallization will be done to purify them further to obtain the acetate free flavonoids. Now finally the uses of flavonoids. As you can see in this slide, I have shown a picture with so many fruits which are colorful. So this depicts that all the fruits and vegetables in the fresh form, they are very much rich in flavonoids. It has also been said by the World Health Organization that if you want to have a healthy life, you should consume fruits of eight different colors on a daily basis. So because of these 8 different colors signifies the presence of different types of flavonoids and antioxidant compounds. So we can say that flavonoids are very rich antioxidants which prevent the free radical formation in our body and keep our body rejuvenated. So that is the first and foremost use of flavonoids, and in present time they are being used as nutraceuticals. The other use is anti-ulcer use, which is generally as a demulcent, as a cooling agent. They are used to treat any kind of peptic ulcer or colonic ulcers. It is also anti-atherosclerotic effect, means it reduces the plaque formulation in the coronary arteries. Now in the coronary arteries normally there is a blockage due to the cholesterol, platelets, etc. They aggregate and bring about blockage, which may lead to a heart attack like condition. Flavonoids can help in removing this blockage and making the arteries work in a better efficient manner. Then we have the anti-inflammatory effects. It may reduce the inflammations in the form of any kind of swelling or pain in different parts of the body. And then the last and the most important is that it is a hepatoprotective effect. Now one drug which we discussed today was Silymarin. It has been seen that there is no synthetic drug available to maintain the health of the liver. Now liver gets affected due to long-term therapies of anti-tubercular drugs or anti-cancer drugs or certain drugs like barbiturates and all, which stay in the body for a long period of time and they affect the liver health. Now to protect the patient from getting malnourished, it is better to have a better liver health. So for that the patients can be given nutraceuticals in the form of flavonoids to maintain the liver health. So again this is one more use of flavonoid as a hepatoprotective drug. So these are the main uses of flavonoids. So in this class, what are the things which we discussed? We discussed the definition of flavonoids, we discussed the chemical structure of flavonoids and their basic classification. We also discussed the chemical test, the method of isolation and uses. Thank you very much.